Hello and welcome back to my channel. Close your eyes for just a moment. Imagine you are standing in a busy airport. Around you, people are laughing, talking, asking questions, and sharing stories. The language they are speaking is English. You've spent years studying it. You know grammar. You've memorized hundreds of vocabulary words. You've passed exams. You've watched countless English lessons. But now, in this moment, you can't understand what they are saying. The words come too quickly. The sounds seem to blend together. You catch a few familiar words, then everything disappears. You smile politely. You nod your head, but inside, one question keeps repeating itself. Why is English so difficult? If this has ever happened to you, you are not alone. Millions of English learners experience this every single day. They work hard, they study for years, yet they still struggle to understand real conversations. Why? Is English really that difficult, or have we simply been learning it the wrong way? Today, we are going to discover a truth that has changed the lives of language learners around the world. A truth that is surprisingly simple. The more you listen, the better you speak. Most people believe fluency begins when you start speaking, but that's not how language works. Think about your first language. Before you spoke your first word, you listened. Before you formed your first sentence, you listened. Before you could answer questions, you listened. For months, even years. Your ears were learning long before your mouth ever spoke. That wasn't a coincidence. It was the way your brain was designed to learn language. And the amazing thing is, your brain still learns languages the same way today. Whether you are learning language at the age of 10, 20, or 50, the principle never changes. First, the ears learn, then the mouth follows. Let me introduce you to someone. His name is Noah. Noah grew up in a small town where opportunities to speak English were rare. Like many learners, he believed success meant studying harder than everyone else. Every morning he opened his grammar book. Every afternoon he memorized vocabulary. Every evening he practiced difficult sentences in front of a mirror. His notebook was full. His dictionary was worn out. His shelves were filled with English books. Anyone looking at his room would think, this person must speak English fluently. But there was one secret Noah never told anyone. Whenever he watched a real interview, he turned on subtitles. Whenever tourists asked him a question, he became nervous. Whenever native speakers talked naturally, his confidence disappeared. One evening, after closing another grammar book, Noah looked at himself in the mirror and quietly asked, I've studied for years, so why do I still feel like a beginner? It was a painful question and deep inside. He was afraid there might not be an answer. What Noah didn't know was that the answer to his problem was not hidden inside another grammar book or another vocabulary list. It was hidden inside something he had ignored for years. Something so simple. Most learners never give it enough attention. And when Noah finally discovered it, his entire journey changed. But before we follow Noah's story, let's first understand why the human brain learns through listening and why this one habit can completely transform the way you speak English. Why does listening have such a powerful effect on your English? The answer is not magic, it is science. And once you understand it, you will never learn English the same way again. Imagine standing outside while it's raining. You don't notice every single drop, but after a few minutes, your clothes become wet. Language works in exactly the same way. Every sentence you hear, every conversation, every story leaves a small mark inside your brain. At first, you don't notice anything. You still struggle. You still miss words. You still think, maybe this is not working. But your brain is quietly collecting patterns without asking for permission. It is learning. One day you hear, how's everything going? The next day you hear, I'm looking forward to it. A week later, it depends. Then take your time. You don't memorize these expressions. You simply hear them again and again and again. Eventually, your brain stops treating them as new information. They become familiar, and familiar language becomes natural language. That's why listening is so powerful. It teaches you without making you feel like you are studying. Now imagine another learner. Every day she opens a grammar book. She memorizes 20 new words. She writes difficult sentences in a notebook. But she spends only 5 minutes listening. Then she wonders, why can't I understand native speakers? The answer is simple. She has learned about English, but she hasn't spent enough time experiencing English. There's a big difference. Reading about swimming will never teach you how to swim. Watching someone ride a bicycle won't teach you balance. In the same way, studying English is important, but living with English every day is what builds fluency. You don't just need English lessons, you need English in your ears. A few days after asking himself that painful question, Noah visited a small bookstore near his home. He wasn't looking for anything special. He simply wanted a quiet place to think. As he walked between the shelves, he noticed an elderly man sitting in the reading corner. The man wasn't reading, he was wearing headphones, smiling, completely absorbed in what he was listening to. Curious, Noah asked politely, "Excuse me, what are you listening to?" The old man removed one headphone and smiled. "Stories." "Stories?" Noah asked, surprised. "Yes," the man replied. "I've listened to stories almost every day for years." Noah laughed softly. "I thought serious learners should spend most of their time studying grammar." The man closed his notebook. Then he asked Noah a question. "Tell me, when you were a child, who taught you your first language?" "My parents," Noah answered. "And did they begin with grammar?" "No, they spoke to me. They told me stories. They sang songs." The old man smiled. "Exactly. Language enters through the ears before it leaves through the mouth." Noah became silent. For years, he had been trying to build the roof of a house without first building its foundation. Maybe you've been doing the same thing. Maybe you've been working hard, but focusing on the wrong habit. Imagine spending just 20 minutes every day listening to English, not for 1 week, not for 1 month, but for 1 year. Think about how many conversations, how many expressions, how many sentence patterns your brain would naturally collect. Fluency isn't created by one perfect lesson. It's created by thousands of small moments. One story, one conversation, one podcast, one day at a time. And Noah was finally about to discover that truth. The next morning, Noah made a promise to himself. He wouldn't quit English. He wouldn't buy another grammar book. Instead, and that one decision would begin transforming not only his English but his entire life. The next morning, Noah woke up with a different mindset. For the first time in years, he didn't reach for his grammar book. He didn't open a vocabulary notebook. Instead, he picked up his headphones. He was about to begin a completely new journey. A journey that would teach him not just how to learn English, but how to enjoy learning it. Noah searched for a simple English story online. He pressed play. The narrator began speaking. For the first 30 seconds, everything sounded fast. Some words were familiar. Others disappeared before he could understand them. His old habit returned immediately. He wanted to face the video, open a dictionary, translate every sentence, write down every new word. But then he remembered the old man's advice. Don't listen for every word. Listen for the story. So he kept listening. He didn't stop. He didn't translate. He simply followed the main idea. When the story ended, something unexpected happened. He hadn't understood everything, but he had understood enough. Enough to enjoy the story. Enough to know what happened. For the first time, learning English didn't feel like an exam. It felt like an experience. The next day, Noah listened again, then again the day after. Days turned into weeks. At first, nothing seemed different. He still made mistakes. He still forgot words. He still struggled with fast conversations. Sometimes he wondered, am I wasting my time? If you've ever felt that way, you are not alone. Progress in language learning is often invisible. Think about planting a seed. You water it every day. You care for it patiently. But for many days, nothing appears above the ground. Does that mean nothing is happening? Of course not. The roots are growing where your eyes cannot see them. Your English grows the same way. Every time you listen, your brain is building connections quietly, patiently, one sentence at a time. one sound at a time, one conversation at a time. One afternoon, Noah walked into a neighborhood cafe. As he waited for his coffee, he heard two tourists speaking English. Normally, he would ignore the conversation. He would assume it was too difficult. But this time, something was different. Without trying, he understood parts of their conversation. One traveler said, "The train leaves at 3." The other replied, "Perfect. That gives us enough time to eat lunch first." Noah smiled. It wasn't a difficult conversation. But months earlier, it would have sounded like noise. Now, it sounded like language. That small moment filled him with hope. He realized something important. Fluency doesn't arrive all at once. It arrives in small moments. The first sentence you understand, the first joke that makes you laugh, the first conversation you follow without subtitles. These moments may seem small, but together they change your life. Now, I'd like to ask you something. When was the last time you listened to English? Not because you had to, but because you wanted to. Learning becomes powerful when curiosity replaces pressure. So, after this video, choose one English story, one podcast, or one interview that genuinely interests you. Don't study it, experience it, enjoy it. Because the learners who enjoy English stay with English, and the learners who stay with English become fluent. For years, Noah believed that fluency meant speaking without mistakes. Now he was about to discover something completely different. Fluency isn't about speaking perfectly, it's about connecting with people. And sometimes the greatest test of your English isn't an exam, it's a real conversation. Many learners wait until they think their English is perfect. But perfection never arrives. Confidence doesn't come first. Action comes first. Every conversation teaches you something. Every mistake teaches you something. Every listening session prepares you for the next opportunity. Don't wait until you feel ready. Keep listening. Keep learning. And when the opportunity comes, speak. Not because you are perfect, but because you are growing. Maybe your dream is to study abroad. Maybe you want a better job. Maybe you want to travel. Or maybe you simply want to speak English without fear. Whatever your dream is, Never believe that you are too late. Never believe that you are not talented enough. Language learning is not a race. Some people learn quickly, others learn slowly. But the people who succeed have one thing in common: they don't stop. They keep listening when progress feels invisible. They keep learning when motivation disappears. They keep believing when results take time. Remember, a river doesn't cut through rock because it is powerful. It cuts through rock because it never stops flowing. Be like that river. Keep moving. Keep learning. One day, you will look back and realize that the person who once struggled to understand simple English conversations has become someone who speaks with confidence. Before we finish this journey, I'd like you to remember one final thought. Fluency is not a destination, it's a habit. Every time you choose to listen instead of giving up, you become a little stronger. Every time you watch one more English story, you train your brain. Every time you hear a new expression, you build another bridge between understanding and speaking. One day, you won't notice the exact moment you became fluent. You will simply find yourself smiling during an English conversation, understanding a movie without subtitles, sharing your ideas with confidence, and realizing I can do this. That day won't happen because of luck. It will happen because of the small choices you make today. So, starting today, listen with curiosity, speak with courage, learn with patience, and never stop believing in your ability to grow. Thank you for being here. If this video inspired you or helped you improve your English, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who is learning English too. And before you leave, tell me in the comments, what is one listening habit you will start today to improve your English? Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep becoming the person you dream of being. See you in the next video.